Look at this dude. Wait till you see the.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is JustClark, and today I'm gonna be talking about how to draw athletic anime girls. But anyways, first of all, this was sent in by my guy Joker Vendetta. Thank you, man, for the question. It was supposed to be how to draw abs, right? But I thought to myself, why not just make it full and go with the whole archetype? So I've been seeing questions, man. I've been listing them down, and I'm gonna be working on them, man. Just wait. All right. But anyways, let's get fucking started. So I done prepared this a couple of days ago. I just left the bottom half out because I want to show y'all the process. Now, me personally, if I'm going to draw this body type, this build of character, I wouldn't necessarily draw the lines with this kind of type right here. I would prefer if there was a little bit more softness to it. So we're gonna get into a little bit of an anatomy lesson. I'm just gonna focus on the fucking abdominal area. All right, so we're not gonna talk about these parts, you know, the good shit. So right here we're going to have got the rib area right here. I'm gonna outline that. You have to be aware of the contours of the body. So we have the rib area right here, and then we're going to have the obliques outlined right there. With gesture drawing, figure drawing, there is this pinch and pull. So this side is pulling and this side would be pinching more. So we're just gonna have this contract a little bit. And now you just have to be mindful of this area of the ribs here. If I hide this character, this is what we have going on. This will be where the oppai, ribs, abdominals, hips, pretty much the hip bones around here. So now I'm just going to outline the legs. The abdominals stretch up to around right here. If we're going to split it, we have these, and then we have this. We're gonna have to be very aware of the shape when we start rendering. So right now I'm just focused on the outline of everything. So let me finish this outline. Let me give her some lower clothes because I don't want to get banned. Yeah.
Take a walk at the park, don't remember where I started. Sky getting dark, but the air is warm and calm. And skip, hold your head and mind so tight, sky's clear, so the stars are smiling down on us, grinning ear to ear. Just walk at the park, don't remember where I started. Sky getting dark, but the air is warm and calm. And skip, hold your head and mind so tight, sky's clear, so the stars are smiling down on us, grinning ear to ear. Just walk with me. There's a lot going on in my head, but when you're around, there's a lot I forget. And I always remember the things that you said when I feel torn up. It's for us when the clouds all blush at one side. No, I've not been much like sunshine lately, but I'll get better soon.
Alright, I'm back. So now we're here. I added the flat colors and roughly shaded just the skin because, you know, except the stomach part, I wanted it to feel a little bit more cohesive. But anyways, now we are in this stage. I only added the base color and also the midtones. We're just going to start with that and slowly darken things out. But I did this outline just so we could be aware what's going on, everything here. I'm just going to note, especially when you're starting out, you want to have reference. Now I have reference, you guys can see it, and I sure as hell can't show it. Yay. Let me explain to y'all my thought process because I've studied this quite a lot back then, but you know, I'm retouching up on it just to tell you guys what I've learned. So pretty much we have around here the rib cage area, so you gotta be aware of that. We have the oppai under there. There we go. So we have the rib cage area here. It's gonna the sternum right here, so there's gonna be a little bit of shadow there. Now my lighting scenario here is coming from the left, as you can see, and you have to be aware of the dips, the bumps, and the curves of the body so that you can achieve a very realistic rendering. So with the shape of the rib cage right here, and when you're rendering, even when you're doing, especially when you're doing rough shadows, you don't want to start out doing very fine shadows. You want to always remember the big, medium, small. And so be aware of the forms of the rib cage. So we have the rib cage area right here. So the sternum here is a dip, and since the light is coming from the left, the right side of the sternum, there would be light shown on it. and so the opposite side will have the shadow cast, but the light is coming from the left, is going to be casted onto here, so this will receive more light than the right side right here. So just following the forms right there. Now I will add some halftones around this area, because remember that the body is a three-dimensional shape and it is kind of cylindrical, so you just have to be aware and remember that shape right there. Now the obliques right here, we're just gonna group that, the obliques. I'm just going to add shadows around the backside, yeah, and let me blend it in a little bit right there. Now when I'm doing my blurring, I'm pretty much blurring the side of the highlights, because the light will diffuse those shadows, because if you go from the shadow side, it's going to have this harsh edge. I find that going with the highlight side, which is from the left, so if I start blurring from the left, you get that soft expression. Then now we have the whole abdominal area. Like I said, we have to be aware of the forms. Now on the other side, we do have the obliques there. We can add a little bit of midtones right here, just to kind of show that dip of the abdominal muscles to the obliques. All right, so we have 6 abdominal muscles. These are three-dimensional. They're like hills. How I'm going to go about rendering this is being aware of separating these two. So the light is coming from the left, so this side will be getting light, this side will be getting light, and this side will not be getting as much. With how lighting works, there's always gonna be, usually, not always, but usually gonna be bounce light and shit, so you don't want to go too dark on your midtones or shadows, and your shadows should only really be saved for cast shadows and very deep parts of the body, but that also depends on lighting, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm explaining this to you guys in a way that y'all would be able to pretty much render in any situation, in any lighting situation. Now colors, I will get into that. I'm studying a lot of color like reactions and all that kind of stuff, so I'm gonna get into that as well. But anyways, this is a lot longer, so it shouldn't really be, but whatever. We have this so far. All right, now let me just hide this real quick, just to show y'all how I'm gonna draw the anatomy here. Let me just roughly shade the thighs a little bit more. So it's very rough, but same thing applies here. It's this last muscle is just extends up to the pelvic area, and then I'm just gonna blend, like I said, on the light side. There we go, have the hair, and just like that, there we have the abs. So now we're gonna move on to adding, I would say, second level of halftones. So the second level of halftones, usually I just put them above the first midtones to give a little bit more depth, have a little bit more blending as well, and yeah, I do it on the same layer as the first midtones. All right, now for here, we're just gonna deepen a little bit, prepare darker areas. This could also be used to push out, you know, areas like the obliques or the abs if you want to define them a lot more. And I wouldn't necessarily add a lot more to the abs, just to, because if you deepen the shadows around the areas of the abs and then the abs, they're just like one level, that would actually give contrast to how they look, and in turn they wouldn't look as defined as it would look initially when you just have one level of shadows. But I will still add a little bit, just the middle part, and this part right here, the belly button. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna just add some cast shadows, and for cast shadows, you want to go separate from, see, this is my highlight group, my light group. So the cast shadow, you don't want to just go right here. This is how I test it. So this is my base color, and this is my third halftone. So I'm gonna move it a little bit more to the red, and from here go halfway and then saturate it a lot more towards the brown, and so that makes a pretty good separation from your light group to your shadow group. You don't want to put too much, you just want to emphasize some separation. And so the next one is, because they're an athletic anime girl, I think we have to go add some fucking sweat. Now I know some people might not like that, but firstly I'm gonna go add some highlights. I usually go hard light, but with sweat right here I'm gonna go add glow, and it's usually like a glistening effect. This is something that I learned from Minion-san, and so you just want to shake randomly. Now Through my own observation, the main look of it is usually around the shoulders, around here as well. Now we have some sheen. The next thing I'm gonna do is add actual sweat. So and I personally moved the opacity to around 60%. I'm gonna go do that, grab my soft airbrush and then erase it a little bit, usually from the top and the bottom area, because the main kind of bulk of it would be around the middle. And then last but not the least, I will add some highlights to some of the sweat areas, so around here. And also I like to use a textured brush for this one. There we go. I'll just add a little bit of overlay for the skin, some multiplication. So for the multiplied layer, the reason I'm doing this is just kind of adding some reds to the skin a lot more. I usually like to put that multiplication around here. And then lastly, some overlay. This is just subsurface scattering, which is how skin reacts to light. Because skin is kind of translucent, so it does absorb a little bit of light and then it bounces back. I'll blend this all in together. There we go. Now we have our athletic anime fucking girl. Alright, so now I'm just going to roughly refine this character and go over once again the steps. So enjoy the little time lapse, man. Yeah.
You better roll with me. It could be better, but I'm glad for what I have, and I'm glad for all my friends. So you never go back like that. Baby, I'm still in a ride. Sing this song and think about it. Sing the future's bright, or maybe not. I guess I'll doubt it. Either way, I don't care anymore. I just need to get my head up out of the ground. I thought some best without it. I'll go as crazy as I can. There's no stopping me. Right now, I'm going fucking nuts. You better roll with me. It could be better, but I'm glad for what I have, and I'm glad for all my friends. So you never go back like that. I'll go as crazy as I can. There's no stopping me. Right now, I'm going fucking nuts. You better roll with me.
Alright, your boy's done. It's very rough, I know. So yeah, especially around the shorts area. But anyways, just gonna go back through what we went about. The rib cage is the first part, the obliques and the abs. Make sure to pay attention to the forms so that when you're rendering them, it pretty much will read that shape. The way I explained how I think about it is so that you will be able to render the abs in any lighting situation. Just be aware of the forms, their shape, and how the muscles are connected together. So we have the abs here separate to the oblique, and then the rib cage, and yeah. With the colors, I'm gonna get into that in a different video explaining that, which I applied in everything here. So yeah, I hope I was able to explain that pretty well. That's my own thought process about it. So if it helped, go leave a like, leave a comment down below what you guys think, leave a comment what y'all want to see next, man, and check out my Twitter if you want to see more of my works, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Yay.